Welcome to the Red Wire series by Vodafone Business. My name's Taryn Williams and I'm joined here today by some very exciting guests to talk to you about digital disruption and innovation. Today, we're joined by James Tucker, General Manager of Bird, Marlowe Mackenzie, Strategic Partnerships Manager at HeyU, and Michael Burton, Co-founder and CEO of Binary Beer. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Taryn.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us, Taryn.
So, Michael, I'm going to jump right into this with you. What does digital disruption and innovation mean to you, and how has it impacted your business?
Thanks, Taryn. To me, digital disruption is what happens when we find a new solution using digital technology to an existing problem. We call it disruption because usually when there's a problem, we already have a solution out there or maybe some kind of a workaround. But when we find a better solution, we disrupt whatever's happening at that time. Now, I see digital disruption as being a very positive thing, especially to customers that have this problem. We have an ability to fix their problems in much more effective ways. And what it means to me, though, at Binary Beer, we try to be on the supply side of disruption. And so I see it as a huge opportunity creator where we can use these new digital technologies to solve existing problems in ways that just previously weren't possible before.
You've certainly done that in your current business. And James, how has your company responded to digital disruption and transformation? And can you share with us some of the key learnings that you've had along the way?
Yeah, sure. Taryn, for us, we actually feel we are a disruptor. So we are in the aged care space with our current product, and we are disrupting the industry by bringing products that have never existed before. And we are trying to do things cheaper, easier, and more reliably than products that have traditionally been in our space. So for us, we have learned that bringing products to the market that can operate on networks such as the NB-IoT network with Vodafone, we're able to reach more of the population with low-powered devices that are cheaper to operate, easier to install from the customer's point of view, and provide us with a niche opportunity to come into the market and provide products that haven't existed before.
So Marlowe, how has HeyU gone about disrupting quite a traditional industry in the hospitality space, and how has digital really allowed you to do that?
So HeyU is a two-sided market where we service both merchants and consumers and users. So I think we've disrupted it in two very different ways. So one, on the merchant side, we've really changed the way they receive orders. We've essentially minimized, one of the biggest things we've done in hospitality is that we've minimized the time it takes to process an order. It can be, particularly for high volume venues, it can be a very stressful experience during peak times because they want to offer a really great experience to their customers, but they've got a lot of them that they all need to service at the same time. And so using HeyU, they're able to capture orders within 5 seconds, however long it takes to tap an iPad, essentially. And then they can focus on just essentially putting out quality product to their customers that when they arrive in store for pickup. On the consumer side, I think as consumers, we live with these perhaps seemingly not too important or these pain points that we kind of take as a given as a daily part of our lives, such as waiting in a queue and making payments, whether they're cash payments or card payments. However, a platform like HeyU removes that, right? So, we remove the wait time, we remove the actual conscious act of paying. And so when you use HeyU to place an order at a cafe for a coffee and perhaps a bacon and egg roll, then when you arrive, that interaction is delightful. There's nothing unpleasant about it in that, you walk in, you can say hi to the barista, you can grab your order, and then you can just walk straight out.
So, Michael, your company is so fascinating to me. It's at the forefront of technology. You allow your customers to see in real time the locations of any of their kegs. They can monitor temperature, manage collection points, and really optimise their supply chain. I can imagine no small feat to have brought all of that together. So can you talk us through how did you identify this problem and the need for a better and more innovative way to solve it?
Thanks, Taryn. Well, when it all started out, I was actually in the home brewing industry because my wife got me into craft beer. And I wanted to put together this keg that would tell home brewers when they were about to run out of beer so that when their friends came around, they wouldn't be left with nothing to serve. And one day I was talking to an actual professional brewer about his issues with beer kegs as well. And he said to me how we have hundreds, if not thousands of beer kegs, and just the trials and tribulations we go through trying to get them back is just crazy for them. So one of the big problems we realised with them was that the moment when a beer keg goes out from the brewery, it's just lost to them, and they don't know when it's going to come back or if it's going to come back at all. And if they're trawling through, say, Gumtree, and they see some of their beer kegs chopped up and turned into backyard furnaces or smokers, it's just heartbreaking for them. So that's kind of where we came with this idea of connecting the world's beer kegs and closing the loop for brewers.
Can you talk us through the technology that you used and how you went about solving that?
Absolutely. We're using a new technology called Narrowband Internet of Things, or NB-IoT. And this is a new wireless technology that allows devices to send data for longer distances compared with, say, your mobile phone, and to last for a much longer time on a set of batteries. So where you would charge your phone every night, with NB-IoT, we can have sensors that last 5 or even 10 years on a single charge of batteries. And that's a real enabler, especially with the cost savings as well, where we may pay a lot per month, like maybe $30 a month for a SIM card or something, but it's a very small fraction of that to connect our IoT devices. And that just opens up so many new opportunities. And I see a future where just so many much cheaper things are going to be connected that aren't connected today.
That's the true power of digital innovation and disruption, I think, in one sentence.
Very disruptive.
Yes. And James, your product is literally saving lives. I think that's a phenomenal advance in technology right there. Can you talk us through how did you identify this gap in the market? Obviously, again, a very traditional industry. And then how did you unite technology, resources, and all of these stakeholders around your problem?
Yeah, well, Taryn, the aged care industry obviously is becoming more of an issue for all of us as we have an ageing population. And here in Australia, the majority of our older people want to continue to live at home in their own homes and be independent in doing so. And we looked at the aged care industry and thought that there must be a better way to keep families connected with their older loved ones, but do that in a way that we can use technology smartly and not have people have to call up their mum or their dad or go around to visit them if they're unsure if they're up and about and going on with their ordinary day. So we used the sensors to place in the homes of older people. And then with the technology that's available, app technology, smartphones, and with the NB-IoT network, low-powered devices, we were able to pair sensors to the smartphone of the family and allow the family to now be connected to their older loved ones, but not have to phone them every day to see that they're okay. Simply look at the app to check that they're up and that they're about and that they're moving and getting on with their ordinary daily routine. And if something is wrong within the home, then an alert is sent to the smartphone of the entire family, regardless of where they may be, and they can then make a decision as to whether to take action to check to see that their independently living loved one is okay. So it's really taking a combination of all the technologies that are available to us today and then developing products that we believe can make a real difference to people's lives.
I love that was identified from really realising that there must be a better way to do this.
Absolutely.
It's a fantastic use of technology to solve a problem. And Marlowe, what challenges have you experienced with the Hey You business in helping customers to really adopt new technology? Obviously, for your customers, your cafes and restaurants, as well as the end user consumer, this is a completely different way of going about their transactions. So have you experienced challenges in having them adopt this technology, and how have you overcome them?
I think that adoption with merchants was a lot easier than with customers, with end users, particularly because merchants feel that pain. For example, so Hey You provides a range of value propositions to merchants, but the main ones being efficiency and or using the platform as a marketing channel. So on the efficiency front, it's a very real problem for merchants, right? That come 7 a.m., they get smashed with 30 people, and that's quite a stressful experience. Merchants only want to give their customers the best experience possible when they come in store. And so when that experience includes perhaps waiting 10 to 15 minutes in a queue, it's a very stressful experience to be standing there and thinking, oh my God, I've got to get through all these people. And then in terms of the marketing channel, particularly smaller mom and pop operated type venues, they're very keen to get themselves out there and put themselves out there and to find channels that make that possible at a very low cost. And then on the user front, I think there was a bit of it was a bit harder perhaps to educate the end users into the problem because this these are kind of experiences that we take as a given, as a part of our everyday lives, of waiting in queues and stuff like that. However, I think that as a society, we were starting to, grow a bit more impatient. There's this higher and higher demand for convenience in a multitude of areas, right? We're used to just jumping on Google really quick and finding an answer to something. We're used to getting our online shopping delivered to us in 3 days or less, and similarly, we're used to making cashless payments now. So I think that once we were able to put our message of we're helping you save time, we're helping you make your cashless payments, we're helping you discover new venues and get lunch and all these kinds of things, then it was adopted quite quickly.
Amazing. So, Michael, one of the things that I wanted to ask you about today was the idea of building continuous improvement and innovation in the culture of your company. And I wanted to see whether you had some advice about how they could do that, how they could implement some of the things that you've implemented successfully into Binary Beer.
Oh, sure. I think it's really critical to create that culture of innovation through a company to get out the most of people that are creating the future that your company is dedicated towards. Probably the biggest thing I ever learned in the past was at a hackathon about 5 years ago, where I was part of a team developing a product and we were given 30 hours to build something absolutely amazing. And we were actually building an internet-connected chicken hatchery for my mother at the time, of all things. And I was just so wired in and developing this system that it wasn't until about 2 a.m. in the morning that my stomach was screaming out, "Hey, you're really hungry, go get some food." And my body was saying, "You're really tired, go get some sleep." And I peeled myself away from the computer and took a look around the place. And what I saw were people everywhere still working on their products, building what they were going to build for this project. And the big epiphany that I had there was that none of these people were being paid to do what they were doing. And they were working over and above to create in 30 hours what would usually take a company, weeks or even months to accomplish in the 9 till 5, general process. So I made a conscious effort with Binary Beer that's the kind of culture we want to bring in with our staff. And when you walk into our office, you'll see cool things like personal projects, drones hanging off the walls, or we have all of our pot plants around the office have little sensors in them, connecting them to the internet and telling us when to water them or if they need more fertilizer. And on all of our shelves, we have project boxes with different prototypes that we're working on as a company in different states of completion. And to keep that culture, we try and make sure that every couple of weeks we have a hack day where our employees can come in and work on a project of their own if they want to learn something new or create something they're interested in. Or if they're not interested, if they don't have any project at the moment, we've always got a ton of them that they can just pick up and do some new research and see if there's a new technology that just might pan out to give us an edge in the market. And we also try to extend that as well by attending hackathons that are also local as well. So if there's a daily hackathon on, our employees are allowed to go to that. Generally, we try and bend the rules a little bit so they can work on a project that's valuable to Binary Beer, but also they can generally use a technology that they wanted to learn anyway and use on a different thing at Binary Beer as well. So I think that building that kind of a culture, there's just so much more you can get out of people and so much more discretionary effort that people can give if they really feel and understand that what they're doing is important, and they're also able to build their own skills for their own processes. So that's the kind of culture that we really think brings out the best in people.
Sets you apart and also allows your employees, I would imagine, to stay abreast of new technologies and new trends.
Absolutely. It's very critical. Just to get that job satisfaction, but also grow as a person as well, I think people need to be able to pursue the things that interest them.
Bring their full self to work.
The workplace is changing so rapidly for all of us, and we've got team members based in Perth, Adelaide, Brisbane. We've got customer care team members right around the country. They work from home, they work certain hours, and we all connect over the technologies that are available to us every day. So we don't need to work 9 to 5 to get the best out of our teams. We don't need to be in the same office. We are spread across the country in order to match time zones with customers, but we're able to do that and be very productive and effective. And at the end of the day, all of that is around providing products that we know are meeting needs that consumers are starting to understand that they have, and that's a challenge. These products are wonderful, they're cost effective, they're reliable, and they're easy to use, and the networks like the Cat N1 network by Vodafone is right around Australia, and it has broad reach, deep indoors, and we're using basic passive infrared sensors now to really bring products that are very smart, and then using machine learning and deep trend analysis to improve them beyond that. It's a very, very exciting time to be in technology businesses.
And I think you made some really interesting points there around being able to maintain a small and lean team through using technology to be able to find experts in their field as well. So you can stay small and lean, but be able to skill up with gig economies and using freelance experts when you do need.
Absolutely.
And they can be based anywhere around Australia or around the globe.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so at Heyu we have a mixture of both of your answers, I guess. So, we do hackathons, which I was actually once, I got myself in trouble because I suggested a hackathon, not knowing what it was, but it's actually 30 consecutive hours of development.
Yeah.
But hackathons they're and particularly on people with those kind of competitive instincts or those that are really responsive to challenge. They could be great because they really force people, they kind of innovation by restriction, right? You have to come up with a great idea that you can execute in 24 to 30 hours, I think another thing that really, that's really made a difference in our business is that we quite a few of our staff are ex-hospo, right? So we've, and myself included, and so we've both played the part of the merchant and we've also played the part of the end user, of the consumer. So being, I guess, personally familiar with the experiences of using Heyu as a merchant and as a consumer, we're very keen to preserve it and continue to enhance it. So we do spend quite a bit of time with merchants. We do customer focus groups nights. And I think that makes our company goals and our company experience or our customer experience perhaps a very kind of shared and internalized goal that we all want to work together towards. And similar to what you were saying, as we also have staff all over Australia. And I think, and including some overseas as well. And I think as we became larger and larger in the sense of headcount, it did become a bit more challenging to kind of, keep rallying the troops and ensuring that we were all sharing the same, the same vision, the same goal, and the same experience. So we do make use of, for example, chat room technologies, and not only just for organizational communication, but also, for banter, right? For example, so that we're all, we're all always kind of on the same page.
Mm. So the last thing that I wanted to cover with you today, James, was just really digging into what does that product development life cycle look like for you in your organisation? How do you go about continuing to build and update and innovate with your product?
Well, the product life cycle for us, and I guess for most businesses, is first identifying the opportunity that you are looking to solve a problem for. Then it's a case of developing a prototype product. Once you've got a prototype, you need to do some internal testing before you're in a position to take it live in a beta environment to some trial customers. It's then a case of getting the feedback from those trial customers, ironing out bugs and enhancing and developing the software so that it's reliable, and then putting it into the market where you can actually now have live environments and live test cases carrying on. And off the back of that, the feedback comes in again, and we iterate and we change based on the feedback we've had. And then that becomes an ongoing cycle for the foreverment of the development of your product. And so you continue to re-look at what you're doing, receive the customer feedback, and importantly, adjust and adapt the product according to the feedback that you're getting from your customers, not being set on what you think should be going into the product.
I think that's so important, continuing to listen to your customer and understanding that you are not your customer.
Absolutely. We can all get very set in our ways of what we think we should be delivering, but if you haven't listened to your customers, then you're probably not going to have a product that's meeting their needs.
And so for everyone today, I'd love to understand what changes you're making in your current businesses to make sure that your business is still here in the next 3, 5, 10 years' time, and that you're not being disrupted by the next startup or innovative entrepreneur.
I could start on this one for sure. In the early days of Binary Beer, we won sort of a competition to go overseas to Boston, USA, and we went through like this startup boot camp. And one of the courses that we did there was on how do you protect yourself from disruption while also being disruptive. And they told us to carry out this thought experiment where we picture some bad guy who's trying to disrupt us, another company. And obviously, you're going to realize this guy probably actually it does exist. They're not just the fictitious character. But think about what are the ways they're going to disrupt you in the future? How are they going to knock you off the perch being 10 times better or faster to market? Or what would it take that doesn't exist now for them to do that? And then whatever that key ingredient is, to make yourself an expert in that, so that when that does become available, there's no opportunity for someone to disrupt you, but at the same time, you have the ability to disrupt yourself. And I think that's a really healthy thing in the life cycle of a product or service, to think about what is the next step, because that's going to be a good way to protect yourself from being disrupted, but also to offer that better solution to your customers as well the moment that it's available.
Never resting on your laurels. I like that.
Yeah. Well, I think for us, we're definitely in the very early stages of the innovative technology life cycle of narrowband Internet of Things, low-powered devices. And we're developing and delivering products now that almost sound too good to be true. So we're having to really educate our customers and build awareness that these products do what we say they do, and that they are reliable, and that they are cost-effective, and that they will end up protecting and helping people take care of their older loved ones. So for us, it's about listening to the customers, enhancing our products on the back of that feedback, and then building out additional products that fit well with the existing services that we're offering. And, competition is a good thing. I think a lot of businesses in the early stages think competitors are there as a threat, but for us, we see competitors as helping us validate our existing products and help us generate an awareness amongst the communities that we're all going out to try to deliver better products for. So, we're about using the latest technologies, ensuring that we're making things easy and cost-effective and reliable, and then building products that our customers tell us they want to use. And it's about continuing to listen to what they need. And that's how we will continue to innovate and bring products that are relevant to our customer base.
On that note of competition, HeyU is a first mover in Australia, but there has been, competition over the years. And so one of the things that we, kind of learned through that experience was that we need to, we really need to be listening and maintaining these really close relationships with our merchants and our customers, and delivering on what they're asking from us. So that's certainly something that is front of mind right now and moving forward in the future. Another thing is, in particular, since the war on waste, sustainability, and particularly environmental sustainability, is huge, and particularly on the topic of disposable coffee cups. And HeyU being a major player in the coffee sales industry, we really wanted to make sure that we were a part of that, and we were a part of, doing good, essentially. So, for example, since approximately 2017, we've facilitated orders that are placed with Keep Cups on the HeyU app at nearly all venues across the network.
Saving the environment one app at a time. I love it. Well, I think there's been some really amazing insights there today. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you joining us today.
Thanks for having us, Tara.